my memory I will always see Charlestown that I have loved so well, where we played half-ball by the old Wiggy's wall, watched movies at the Hippie under the elm, tromping home, waging fights.
Hi, welcome to Charlestown and Beyond. I'm Kathy Cookie Giordano, your host, and it's nice to be back with you. And I'm looking at the wrong camera. You know, I take a few weeks off, and here I am. I don't even know what I'm doing. I have to apologize for the last show. Emergency came up, and I was supposed to go into City Hall to tape Mayor Walsh, and it didn't happen, and I apologize. And now I and the mayor's staff are trying to reschedule his appearance on the show, and hopefully it will be soon. So in the meantime, have you had the pleasure or displeasure to ride through Charlestown lately? It's bad. Sullivan Square is bad. If you can at all avoid entering Charlestown from Sullivan Square, do it. The tie-up there due to the work on the Alfred Street Bridge, Route 99, leading into Everett, where the casino is going to be. Well, on the bridge, it's restricted to one lane either way. So you can imagine the bottleneck in Sullivan Square. Now, not only Square, I heard yesterday that the traffic on Bunker Hill Street went all the way back up to Elm Street. Now, if you're not familiar, if you haven't lived in the town for a while, Elm Street is next to the Carr Funeral Home. That's up over the hill and going down again towards Hayes Square. That is outrageous. And it's almost as bad on Medford Street, Medford Street, Main Street, Rutherford Avenue, and Cambridge Street coming from Somerville. Not to mention the cars that are coming off 93 South to into Sullivan Square. It's a disaster. And this is one of the reasons I wanted the mayor to come on the show. What can the city do for Charlestown? We need some kind of mitigation. I mean, this traffic is a bottleneck right outside the firehouse and the ambulance, where the ambulances park, right outside Schrapp's, which brings its own traffic in and out. It is just a nightmare. It is not going to get better for quite a few months in Sullivan Square. They're also working on the rotary there. Now, I was told that some Suffolk County sheriffs were there to direct traffic the end of last week, but they weren't directing traffic. But I don't know if they know how to direct traffic. They're sheriffs. Today, there was no police detail there helping people get through. There has to be a detail there. And the way it's going now, it's like this from before 6 o'clock in the morning until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So there's no way of getting around it. So I love to shop at Stop and Shop in Somerville. I think I'll have to find another way to go shopping or another place. I don't know where. But it hasn't started yet at City Square, but that is going to happen soon. And can you imagine the nightmare there, especially with both ends of Charlestown being blocked off? The Tobin Bridge going north that you can enter through Charlestown is a parking lot anytime after 3:30 in the afternoon until I don't know when. Four lanes stop right after the tolls in going towards north. So this is what's going on in Charlestown. If you can avoid Charlestown, avoid it. The people that are living there are stuck. So bad news all around, and I hope that we can get some answers soon as to what can we do. I'd like to see some mitigation for Charlestown. I mean, they were told that there was going to be always an access road for emergency vehicles. I don't know where that is right now. At the first big bottleneck in Sullivan Square, don't know. I really don't know. So we need these answers. And if any of our elected officials are watching the show, will you please address this issue and let us all know? So let me see now, what have I got here? Okay. I was in Charlestown yesterday, and I drove around, and so many people have been talking about the new, goodness, you can tell I've been off for a few weeks. The mind isn't working correctly. Let me see now. We'll go on to that while I find it. It's the new retail store in the dollar store in Hayes Square. So David, if you can find those photos, here we go. This is, I went in with my iPad and I took some photos. Here's as you go in the front door, which is right at the old entrance to the church, St. Catherine's Church in Hayes Square. There it is, there it's from the outside. You can notice that they've broken into the granite steps to get into the lower level for the dollar store. So there's an outside view, and David just showed the view of when you enter, that's what you see. So here are some photos of what takes place in there. As you can see, it's a very clean store, and it's well organized. And it's got so many aisles, just packed with good stuff, cheap. There's the cash registers, you know, as you're going out. Here's a few of the Halloween decorations that were up for display. The prices are very good, they really are. What else have we got? No, there's a little bit of everything there on one of the aisles. I picked up a greeting card there for an occasion that's coming up, and it was lovely. I mean, it's not a Hallmark card, but it's a lovely card, and it cost me 53 cents. Now, there's canned goods. They were really inexpensive. You can get a can of green beans for like 57 cents. So that's, and then I don't know if that's absolutely correct, but those are the kind of prices you were there. And I must say, for the location that it's in, it's great for the people that live there. And I'm not condoning the site, and I'm not against the site. I'm just letting you know, like me, the people that haven't ventured in there, that's what it looks like. And a lot of people are grateful that it's there. And I know there'll always be people that don't like where it's situated. So that's just what's going on. And I also took advantage of driving around Charlestown, and in the future, I have been talking to some of the restaurant owners in Charlestown, and I'd like to do a little series of the Charlestown restaurants. Well, yesterday I went around and I took some photos of the outside of 3 of the establishments in Charlestown who have been extremely generous to the nonprofits in the town. And this one here is the Monument Restaurant. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's the Grasshopper up on Bunker Hill Street, almost across from Carr's Funeral Home. I'm giving Carr's a plug here twice today, which they're wonderful people. And this is great. If you want a homemade meal first thing in the morning or lunchtime, this is a place to go. Everyone goes there. It is just fabulous. And then on Main Street, the Monument Restaurant, I'm sorry, the Grasshopper is owned by Lynn and Kevin Smith, Townies. Monument Restaurant is owned by Damian Donovan, and it is spectacular. You can go in there for lunch and dinner and beyond, and the food is just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And then if you're hungry in between and you don't feel like going out, there's the world-renowned Jenny's Pizza that has been around. In fact, I think it's the longest food establishment in Charlestown of any. It was run by the McLaughlins before Joey Lacey bought it some 10 or 15 years ago. And it's on Medford Street, and they will take your orders. You can't go in there and eat, it's only delivery. but they have the best pizzas. They have the best submarine sandwiches anywhere. So I suggest those 3 restaurants highly. And, you know, since you can't get out of town, why not try some of the restaurants within the town? And, you know, I was researching the restaurants in Charlestown, and there are 38 restaurants listed as in existence in Charlestown. I can't believe there's 38 in 1 square mile, but they gave all the names and addresses. So there's got to be a good 20 out of that 38 that is still around, but I'm going to check them all out for you, and we'll go from there. Let you see for yourself what's out there to offer. And you know, recently, last week, as a matter of fact, I had the occasion and the honor to go and speak at a class at Boston College for Professor Tom McDonald. And Sal Geritani came with me, and we just had the best time. The students were magnificent. They were so on us. I mean, it was funny. Here we were. I mean, I started working at the Charlestown Patriot back in the late 60s, early 70s. And compared to the technology that is out there today, it was like, like, you know, the pen and the ink quill, you know, compared to what the kids have there. And they asked us that. And I told them, you know, we had a typewriter, that was it. This was before computers when we started out, and then we got technical and it got better. But Sal Geritani now has been involved with various newspapers across the city with his column, and he does feature it still in the Patriot Bridge. And we just had a great time. Sal is a great storyteller, and all true, but he is so funny. And between the 2 of us, it was the fastest couple of hours I ever spent, and it was just magnificent. And the class was really into it and really wanted to know a lot of what the old stuff was, you know. And they particularly wanted to know what it was like to work in your hometown on a hometown newspaper rather than, you know, a lot of them aspire to go to the New York Times and, you know, the Wall Street Journal and all that. And they wanted to know what it was like to work within your own community. And that was interesting for both Sal and I, talking about those memories, good and bad, and how we handled them. So that was a joy. And let me see now, what else have I got? I haven't got an awful lot. I think I showed you all the pictures I had this week. Let me see. Now, my next show is in 2 weeks, and on that show, I'm going to have Tom McDonald, famous author, director of the Harvest on Vine Food Pantry, professor at Boston College. He's such a full life, and he's a marvelous man. But he's going to come on because his latest book is published, and he's going to have a launching on October 28th at the Navy Yard Bistro. But he's going to come on in 2 weeks and talk about his new book. And it's Murder in the Charlestown Bricks. This is, I believe, the 4th in his series of books, all same characters, you know, traveling along. And it's based in Charlestown, which is fascinating, in Boston. And you recognize a lot of the characters. Well, a lot of them come back, but there's someone that you would be familiar with, and also the locales, Charlestown, Boston, you know, where they're talking about it. I can't wait to get my copy of the new book. And Tom will be here in 2 weeks, and we'll be talking about that. So let me think what else. You know, as you can see, I'm really not back up to snuff here yet, and I'm not prepared, and I really apologize to you for that. Upcoming shows on the first week in November, we're going to salute the veterans with particular notice of Charlestown veterans. And my guest on that show will be Charlestown's own Eddie Lone. Eddie is really into the Civil War, but he is going to get a lot of information together about all veterans, Civil War, Revolutionary War, World War II, World War I, Korea, and I just can't wait to have that show with Eddie. That should be fascinating. So if you're a veteran or have a veteran in your family, remember that. That will be the first Thursday in November. And then we're going from there. We'll be scheduling interesting shows and topics after that right through the end of the year. And hopefully Mayor Walsh will be able to fit us into his schedule before the end of the year, and we'll talk more about what is going on in Charlestown and what the city has done to help mitigate with the community, with the neighbors, on how we are going to get through this mess. The Charlestown Bridge will be under development for 5 years. That's the bridge going into the north end. Imagine 5 years. If it's going to be anything like Sullivan Square, which won't last 5 years. The new casino is scheduled to open next June. Yes, that will bring an awful lot of traffic to Sullivan Square. And, but the construction of the roads will be finished with the help of God by then, and the traffic will be flowing easier by that time. Still a lot to talk about, what's going to be going on in the Lost Valley, the other side of Sullivan Square, and those people. And that's it. So listen, I'm going to wrap up for now, and I'm going to leave you with a gift from Paul Lane. And you know, Paul is just a fantastic photographer, and he's leaving us with some pictures of fall in Charlestown and around Boston. So with that, I bid you farewell and take care of yourselves until I see you the next time. Bye.